You're listening to My Grito Podcast Network, celebrating the culture of Chicanos and Latinos one story and voice at a time. Listen to more My Grito Podcast Network shows over at mygrito.net. Connect on social, on Instagram and Facebook at My Grito, the My Grito Podcast Network.
All right. I think we got it. Cool. Sebastian, thanks for coming out, dude, and doing the podcast.
Thank you for having me out here. I appreciate it. If I can do this right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't think we did that outside.
No. It was straight business.
Straight.
We weren't even smiling or anything.
I know. I was just like,
hello, I'm here for the interview.
Get back here now.
It's in the back. Get in the back.
Dude, you know, for the longest, I thought you and Bernard were brothers.
Because that's what he tells people. But, you know, in all honesty, we've known each other for such a long time that we pretty much are like family. I know his mom. I know his sister. He knows my family. You know, we're essentially just people that grew up in the hood. People that don't know what the hood is, that's just a inner city, you know, area. And that's what we are. We're family.
So, Sebastian, you are a multidisciplinary martial artist, right? And you're also a drummer for Bad Hombres.
That's why that song sounded familiar, you guys. No, I appreciate you guys, you know, just promoting and supporting the music. And that's, you know, artists, as you guys understand, this is what we thrive on. And we love the fact that people either support or love or somehow relate to the stuff that we put out. You know? Yeah.
Thanks, dude. We love this song so much, and if you guys haven't heard, I'll announce it right now today. So the Mind Buzz has a new theme song, and that's "King Without a Throne" by Bad Hombre. So you'll be hearing that at the beginning of each episode, and then also at the end too. So I just want to say thank you guys, like honestly, for allowing us to use it.
Hey, I appreciate that. I'm pretty sure the rest of the band members, Bernard, if you're listening, I'm pretty sure he's happy right now. He's in the toilet. He's like, yes. And he has a heart attack.
He's like,
I'm just playing.
Like the king.
I love you, man.
King.
Like the king. But how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu, dude? If I'm saying that correctly.
That's a good question, man. About a decade now, strong.
Wow.
And I remember the first time I ever tried it, it was at a place called 10th Planet Burbank. I'm at 10th Planet West LA under Scott Epstein. So when I went to 10th Planet Burbank, I got my ass beaten up so bad that I didn't think that I was actually going to come back, but I ended up just loving it. There's something humbling about the whole experience and trying to overcome adversity and trying to come back and be successful with things that get into the way, you know, like roadblocks. Or, you know, you can translate that into any part of life. But that's what I was addicted to. And every 2 years, I ended up loving jiu-jitsu and martial arts even more. Like to this day, I feel stronger than I did when I was younger too. And it's all like a discipline as well. And it's translated into my life as far as me being happier, me being more fit, me being more serious about my life. So I take it very serious and I love it. And the people that I coach, the people that I have private sessions with, they all feel the same zeal. You know?
So right now you're coaching. So you coach jiu-jitsu? Is that what's going on?
I teach, I do private lessons, lead group classes, all that stuff, and people feel the same way, you know?
What's the difference between like jiu-jitsu and like, you know, there's different forms of martial arts, right?
Yes. Okay. So what people are familiar with, this makes me laugh a lot of the times. So a lot of people confuse MMA with UFC. So some people, hey, I do UFC. That's incorrect. You don't do UFC. You do MMA. So people like UFC is like the biggest league that we have for MMA, essentially. So the biggest ones that are out there right now in the market are UFC. And some people will probably put down Bellator as number 2. And then some people will put down ONE FC, which is out in like the Asian market. and all of those have great fighters. UFC, I would have to say, has the edge on like the best fighters in the world. And then personally, I think that ONE FC out in Asia has like the second top tier of like best fighters in the world.
Why is that? Is it just the different styles that they have there, or?
Well, similar to everything in life, everything comes down to money, right? So I think when there's a lot of fame, notoriety, and publicity, you're just going to attract like the highest tier of athletes, right? And then ONE FC also pays very well with their athletes, They're going to get the second tier. The people that couldn't make it to UFC, or if they have the option of going to the UFC or ONE FC, whoever pays them better, it depends on your situation, right? So if you have a family, you want to take care of them, I don't know if necessarily you're gonna want to go to UFC. You may want to go to ONE FC because the cost of living out there is much cheaper, right? And they're gonna pay you a good comparable, competitive rate. So some people are gonna choose ONE FC, overall.
Is there a lot of Americans that live in Asian?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Not even non-fighters, just there's a lot, like a huge influx. This is unrelated, but there's a huge influx of people going out of the U.S., for cost of living. A lot of people struggling out here.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
Yeah, not other states, but actually living in different countries because of the cost of living.
Yes. I'm not really, it's a topic that we can go into a huge rabbit hole, right?
Yeah. We're all about rabbit holes on this podcast.
A lot of people are leaving regardless of their situation, but they're getting different experiences outside of where they currently live, right? And I'm not opposed to that. I think everyone should go through that. And if you don't like it wherever else you go, then come back, maybe. But at least you have that experience of saying, I did it. I know what it's like out there. I loved it, or I didn't like it, and I came back. That's.
Are you originally from California?
Born and raised.
Yeah?
Correct.
Oh, okay. I feel like you're from a different state. I don't know why.
A different state?
Yeah.
No. No, it must be the accent.
I'm a bad...
Everything was foggy from that night we hung out with you guys, so he might have some misinformation from that night.
It's the North Carolina accent. Or the Texan accent. I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone out there when it comes to the accents, because that's not Texas. That's South Carolina.
That's South Texas.
But
10 years is a long time for jiu-jitsu, dude.
Well, that's 10 years is a long time for anything, right?
Yeah.
10 years is a long time for a relationship. 10 years is a long time with a job. 10 years is a long time with anything. But if you love it, you don't really feel it. I mean, my body feels the 10 years.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now. But I love it.
So what pushed you to learning this?
Not too many people know about this little story, but the one particular person, right? In general, when you're a little kid, you look at movies, right? So what's the number one for you guys out here? What? Number one mixed martial artist, or just martial artist that comes to your mind?
What's his name?
Don't say Chuck Norris, please.
No, the Asian man, the one that...
Bruce Lee?
Yeah, Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, right? For me, and I know Bernard's going to be laughing right now when he hears this part, because he always makes fun of me for this one. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So when I was small, all of his movies, everything about him, the way he kicked, the way his confidence, all that stuff, that's what really just got me into the mode of like, what is he doing? How is he putting his foot all the way up there? How is he knocking out people without his hands?
Bloodsport was probably
You see, that's exactly
one movie that I'd watch when I didn't have to go to school. I don't know why. It was always on some
funny.
certain channel.
For me, it was just novellas when I...
Yeah. I don't know.
I watched The Price is Right.
You didn't see that one, girl.
Or
Come on down.
Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer.
Without my mom knowing.
You said it was I Love Lucy too, right? You watched all of them?
I remember watching I Love Lucy. If you didn't watch Jerry Springer when you were a kid, then I know you're lying to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I know everybody watched that. And if you're Hispanic, for sure, Jose Luis and Censura. Come
Jose
on.
Luis y Censura.
The same
Wait,
Mexican version.
Oh, that's the Mexican version,
The Mexican
right?
one. Where they used to like pay people. We knew, I think one of our neighbors, they're like a bunch of brothers, and they would pay you to go onto the show and like heckle people. So you'd get like, I think like $50 if you like yelled, and then like 75 if you like stood up and ran like you were gonna get in a fight.
Yeah.
And then like 150 if you fought.
Make sure you run into the security guard, okay? So they can stop you.
So they would go and they would like when they needed extra money, and then they would like sign up, and if they got chosen, and then they would like fight on Jose Luis and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that.
You know, it's funny. It's almost like as if at this point, it's almost like everybody knows someone that got paid to go to Jose Luis and
Right?
It's crazy. Like, think about this. Like, you guys are from this area where I'm from, like LA, and even you guys know someone that has been on that show.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of those extra cash making shows.
Amber's been on that show.
No, I wasn't. I was
With
too
a
little.
different rig every
Yeah.
single time.
Yeah.
So people don't
She
recognize
threw a
it.
hot dog at somebody.
This time I had sunglasses.
Yeah.
Well, that's where that girl came out, the Jack in the Box one. All those memes, the
Oh, the Jack in the Crack
Jack
girl?
in the Crack girl. She was on Jose Luis.
Yeah.
Damn, that doesn't sound familiar. I think I stopped watching at that point.
No, it's like a sound bit that they made. And
Yeah.
she's like Jack in the Crack.
Have you heard of Fool's Gone Wild?
Fool's Gone Wild?
Fool's Gone
That
Wild.
sounds familiar. Is it on Instagram? I think I
Yeah,
did.
on Instagram.
It's an
Yeah.
Instagram page.
Can you refresh my memory?
Pull it up,
I'm
Amber.
pretty sure I've seen it. I've probably laughed at it. It sounds familiar.
Let me see
Fool's
if it's
Gone
on.
Wild.
It's probably on YouTube for
Is
sure.
it like the Mexican version of like World Star?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like back in the day it was. They kind of like changed their marketing tactic back. There you go.
Look, they did
Oh, that's a song.
But see, here it is. Look. Well, they made it into a song, but
They
then
made it to a cumbia?
Uh-huh. But see, she was on there. Alejandra.
Wait, you know this lady?
No, I'm just reading her name.
Jack in the crack. Jack in the fun. 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 Jack in the crack. Jack in the fun.
But yeah,
Jack in the fun.
that's the
Wait,
Jack in the
¿qué dice
Crack.
ahí? It says screwed up.
Screwed up. Like screwed up cumbia.
Híjole.
Jack in the Crack.
Imagine doing something like this. Not
Wait, doing what exactly? What are we talking about?
like the girl. Imagine going onto like a TV show,
Yeah.
right? And unknowingly, like you turn into a meme for like millions of people to see. Imagine how crazy is
And
that?
that must have been like over 10 years ago,
Yeah.
right? That
Well,
episode.
it's essentially the same as that. Remember that girl that went on to Maury, I think, and she became like a famous like rapper, and then she did like OnlyFans or something like that.
Oh,
Didn't
that's-
one time out.
That's
That,
Dr.
like,
Phil.
Meet me in the
She was on
back.
Dr. Phil, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it like? Meet me in the.
Catch you
Meet me.
outside,
Oh, there we
catch
go.
you
Catch
outside.
you outside. That was her
Yeah.
catchphrase. Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's
Bad
crazy.
Baby.
Bad
That's her
Baby,
name.
That's her-
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Am I thinking about Bad Bunny? Is that someone else?
No, Bad
No,
Baby
that's
was...
that's
It was one of the bads. Or one of the bunnies, right? It's one or the other.
yeah, and like the first day that she opened her OnlyFans, she made like $1 million.
She
or
broke.
something like that.
Yes, and I remember reading that she broke the record for I don't know because she was like one of the first ones on it. And like, just imagine that though.
I know,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Like off of like a TV show, a daytime TV show, to rapper, and then that's it. Like she just blew up.
well,
Yeah.
the one because they did like a mini docu of where are these people that the memes that kind of blew up and stuff. And one of the family members, I don't know if you guys remember, but the big African American guy, the one that's like really really dark, and then he's like really buff, and he's sitting at like the edge of the bed, and then they do all these memes about him.
Oh wait, didn't he die? He passed away.
Yeah,
right?
so he had passed away when the meme kind of became famous. So it started popping up, and then all the family was like, "What the heck? Like, what's going on? Like, he's been dead for like 5 years already." So the family kind of talked about it and all that.
and he's
stuff.
still making money.
And he still was making
somehow.
money.
Wow. I
So
mean,
the family's like making money off of his picture still?
The Mind Buzz is powered by Mind Buzz Media. Mind Buzz Media is an on-site video and audio podcast production company. Have you ever thought about starting your own video and audio podcast? Or do you have an existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? MindBuzz Media brings a professional podcast studio to you. Visit mindbuzz.org for more.
I mean, at that time they were, because people started using it for like campaigns and stuff like that.
Wait,
For
what was-
campaigns? What kind of campaigns?
What was his initial claim to fame? I remember that image.
He was a porn star.
Oh, he was?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the family wasn't new to
No, him being on.
him being.
Oh, they knew.
They
Yeah.
knew.
Gil, they knew. Just trust me.
I thought it was just a random picture of some guy on the edge of the bed.
That's what I always
The
thought too,
hammer.
but apparently there's real people behind the scenes, the cameras, and
With
all
the
that
pet iguana.
stuff. No, that was him. That was an iguana.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but he was a porn star.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense then.
Mhm.
I thought he was just a normal guy, you know?
A normal guy's not that big, man.
And,
Yeah, we're thinking about it. It was like, oh.
yeah.
That's funny.
Would you fight him? If he was alive and said, Sebastian, I want to fight you.
Listen, let me put this on the table right now. I do not like fighting people. However, I am not afraid of fighting anybody. If my life is on the line, if I have to protect myself, if I have to protect my family, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
That's just, there's a switch. I think most like people in mixed martial arts can do the same thing. There's a switch. You just have to handle business. That's it. You have to.
So, like, give me a percentage. Like, most of the people you train,
3. I don't know.
most of the people that you train, like, what are they doing it for? Like, for health benefits, for, self-defense,
Right.
athletic reasons, working out, exercising. What is it?
Okay, that's a good question. I think from my experience, let me give you the whole gamut of things first, right?
Okay.
To cover I'm going to answer your question for sure.
There we go.
But there's in my whole decade of just training, there's been people that try martial arts for maybe about like a year, maybe sometimes even a month. And I'm talking about, you'll get close to these people, they're cool, and then they just stop coming. I don't know what happens, life gets in the way, right? Then there's people that I've trained with or I train, they just stick with it. They excel so much that sometimes they become like real threats to, like even like higher belts. It really depends on like your body physique, your stature, your like determination and all that stuff. But I would say that a lot of people do it for self-defense purposes and to, stay healthy or to find something else. Like in general, the gym, if you go, sorry for all you gym rats out there, but sometimes the gym is boring. This offers that same type or caliber of workout, but with more like strategy.
If you were to describe it as a workout, like what would it be?
That's a very good question too, but I need more of an elaboration on that question. What do you mean?
Like, is it strength training? Is it cardio?
It's all of the above. Honestly,
It's all of that
That's
and more.
literally everything. It's everything, but a little more. Yeah, you're right, because there's strategy behind it. There's
'cause
it's like
you're like-
playing chess. It's like
Okay.
human chess, and that goes to MMA, that goes to striking, that goes to jiu-jitsu especially. It's people think that we're dumb. I don't know if that stereotype is still out there, but most of the people that train nowadays, we're very sharp, we're smart.
I mean, you have to,
You know,
right?
you
In order
have
not
to.
to get hurt or to think what your next move is or what your opponent's next move might be, right? I mean, you have to be thinking. It's not just mindless throwing punches or kicks or whatever, right?
Exactly. For longevity, for the purposes of longevity, you have to be strategic about this. You have to be meticulous about what you're going to do, how you're going to train, how you're going to eat to propel that longevity so that you actually are able to come back. So for instance, let me give you an example too. A lot of like the sluggers, you know what sluggers are, or the
No.
people that just like to just like stand and bang, you know what that means, where they don't care about like bobbing and weaving punches.
Okay.
Like, I like to get hit in the face, and they like to just brawl, like brawlers. Those people never last. They always have some sort of like brain injuries, concussions, because you're not looking at it as a strategy. You know, there's something beautiful. Like, for instance, like one of my favorite fighters of all time, for me personally, some people will say John Jones, but I liked Anderson Silva, the way he dismantled. For all of you out there that are interested in like MMA or striking, if you really like look at the way Anderson Silva like broke down his fights or his fighters as well, it was like watching a butterfly at his prime. It was like watching a butterfly just dismantle an opponent. And I'm talking about like not a street bum. You know what I mean? I'm talking about high level people. Like, and when he was in his heyday, he was a sight to see, honestly. He was something else. Oh, if you look at the top right there, like Vitor Belfort, he was the first person in the UFC to knock someone out with a front kick.
Whoa.
Oh, and you see it in the second right
Silva.
here. Check this out.
Vitor Belfort. Fight
How long is the fight right there? Because you might want to like...
This is 5
This
minutes.
Yeah,
one's
5 minutes. Go
minutes.
towards the end if you can, but right before the actual kick. So they're feeling each other out. Anderson Silva was a counter fighter, so he expected a lot of times for the fighter to you know do a lot of offense, and then he would just calculate his kill. Okay, so now
All right.
you're
Yeah,
gonna
you-
go
you-
back.
I think where that peak is.
Okay, so I'll tell you when
That
to stop.
pop.
Right there. Go right there. You can press play. Okay, so he just got taken down right here, but he's back up on his feet. Right, he lands a knee. And I'll tell you the breakdown right here. Okay.
A split second. Now they're starting to open up.
Look at the way he evades most of his punches.
Outstanding head movement by Anderson. Like we said, second to none.
Look at that.
Oh,
He front kicked him in the face.
All right, I gotta see that again.
Look, you have to understand too, like,
Outstanding head movement by
Look at that.
Anderson. Like we said, second to
it
none.
was just like so quick with his left
Kicked him in the face. Absolutely right.
with his left foot. Was that his left?
Kicked in the face. Anderson Silva.
and that was the first time that anyone had ever done that in the UFC.
Really?
Yeah, the first
To the
time.
face. Whoa.
And they had a very heated rivalry because they used to train together. They're both from Brazil.
Mm.
And then along the lines, they diverged.
Yeah.
But, this is why he's coming back to just, I don't know, give him some sort of respect.
For a long period of time.
Look at that. Bam.
Whoa.
And mind you, he didn't see that coming. He was expecting a low kick at that point, and then it just comes up to his chin, and that's why it just
It's
looked like.
almost Vitor expected it to go to the body.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he saw it coming. He didn't even move. Oh, right to the chin. Incredible.
And then after this fight, I think there was like 3 other fighters that ended up doing the same thing.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting that because he was looking at him like straight in his eyes. They were like locking eyes, and then a foot comes out of nowhere.
So here's the thing. Here's the
Knocks him
setup
out.
that he did. Okay. Since it was the first time. So what Anderson Silva did here was that, like I said, he was a master at just misdirecting you and your eyesight, right? So what ended up happening here is that he was looking at Vitor Belfort's leg. So if you're the opponent, you're going to be thinking like, oh, I see what he's trying to do. He's going to try to kick my leg, right? So he just misdirected his hips and went straight down the middle and then ended up connecting with his chin. And that's why you see that Vitor Belfort didn't even try to block that. He just didn't see it coming. And that's what I'm talking about. That, to me, seeing stuff like that type of fights, or those type of fights, that's beautiful to me. That's strategy, that's chess, that's like at the highest level too. And we're talking about Vitor Belfort, who was one of the best fighters in history. Like, he's going to go into the Hall of Fame if he isn't already.
How do you like when you do go to fight and things like that, like how do you not, because I'm thinking of myself, right? I'm not an angry person and I've never fought in my life, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I would get way too into it where like this anger might come out to me. I mean, is that part of training too? Of
Like, how do you separate the passion from the
yeah, like
sport?
anger of like hurting someone and things like that. I mean, is that ever?
Because I
come
don't
up,
think
or-
I don't think it's not anger, right? It's
That's a good point right there. I will say that leads me to say something here too. Most of the people that do train, we all come from some sort of trauma or anger, right? That you're trying to work out, right? Especially if you stay in the game for so long, right? We come from some sort of trauma. Let's just be real about this right here. So everybody has anger, right? Everybody chooses to deal with it certain ways. Some of them can be detrimental to your health and your body, and there's healthier outlets, right? But this is my outlet. I find it to be healthy. Like I told you guys before, I'm a lot happier than I've ever been before, you know? But if you have anger, I definitely implore you to visit your local gym and see if you end up liking it. And here's the other thing too. Some gyms are not going to give you that same vibe. So I would definitely recommend visiting more than one gym if you're trying to get into martial arts.
Why is that? Is there like a different culture between different gyms? Is it just the trainers? Like, what is it?
Let me put it to you this way. You
It's
guys,
like finding a new car, right?
Oh,
you
okay.
got to visit dealerships. You got to fill them out.
You
Take
guys
them
are
for
foodies,
test
right?
rides. Yeah,
all right. You guys try different restaurants, right?
absolutely.
But the point of it is you still like food. But there's some restaurants that are they just don't have the right ingredients. The I don't know, it was a bad night. You know, sometimes the ingredients are as good, high quality as other restaurants. It really comes down to there's so many options that some of them are going to be watered down. Some of them are going to be owned by instructors that are, I don't know, they're just not at the caliber that you want them to be. Or sometimes, you know, situation is that, you know, maybe they don't care.
How, like, for a beginner, like, how would somebody even recognize that? Like, for me, if I walk into a jiu-jitsu gym not knowing shit, and how would I distinguish, oh, this is a good teacher, this is a bad teacher?
The first thing you do when you go into a jiu-jitsu gym is you go like this. Hiya! In karate.
All right. Don't tell me that, because I will do it.
I'm like, please don't tell them.
I will do it. Sebastian told me to.
Kia! That's what you do, and you do like a sumo stance too. Kia!
Okay.
No, you just look, honestly, the best advice I'm telling you is visit around like 5 different gyms, because at the end of the day, you have to vibe with that gym, their people, and that gym has to vibe with you. So if you just think that you go to one gym and you say, I don't like jiu-jitsu, or I don't like striking, or I don't like MMA, well, you didn't give it a chance.
Right.
You know, you have to try different gyms out. There's going to be one, you like the people, you like the coach, you like the students, you like the staff, you like the whole, or maybe just the actual like geography of it, like the actual, you know, interior design of it. And sometimes that's what does it for people too. You know, so
That's
give it
interesting.
more than just one shot. That's what I'm saying. You know?
Like one shot, like at different places?
No. Give it more than was just. I just went to one gym and they had jiu-jitsu and I didn't like it, so that means I don't like jiu-jitsu. No.
Oh,
Just
okay, yeah.
try different gyms. You're bound to like one professor, one instructor, student base, staff. You know, or how their customer or client services. You know, everything plays a role in whether you're gonna, you know, actually stay there or they're gonna retain you as a student. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, of course, because you're going to, I mean, you want to go back, right? So,
I hope so.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good healthy outlet too.
yeah.
Honestly,
How kind of like pre-fit do you have to be to kind of go into jiu-jitsu?
what are you trying to do?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, like in general, like. Let's
Okay,
say
so
you've never...
real life situation here. Amber-
to kill somebody.
No, because I've thought about it, but this was like a year ago.
Are you being truthful with me? Huh?
Yeah.
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 You've tried it.
I've no,
No, he
I
thought of it.
thought of it. I thought of it. There's
And then I went back to sleep.
no, there's a gym down the street over here, and I thought about it. I was like, no. So I just did weightlifting, whatever, different gym. But I've thought about entering like a contact sport like this.
Right.
But my thinking, I'm pretty overweight right now at the moment.
Okay.
So I feel that maybe I need to cut the weight down and then maybe sign up, or built up my endurance, built up my stamina for something like this.
Okay. So what kind of gym was it first? Let me ask you a few questions. Interrogation.
Let's look it up. pull it up.
Are you allowed to say the name of it or no? You don't
No,
want
I never tried it. I just seen it. I
to? Okay.
in a car.
We're on our way to grab something to eat. No, I'm just kidding.
That sounds about right.
In a car driving, passing by. I just thought about it. Hey, maybe I should. I would want to try this, or maybe I just want to try a contact sport.
Right.
Right.
What? Okay. Let's step back a bit.
hmm
What have you been attracted to before you even thought about this? I'm talking about, did you ever like wrestling? Did you ever like
I like
MMA?
wrestling.
He likes
I like wrestling.
Good.
Yeah.
And what about striking? Meaning like Muay Thai, kickboxing,
No,
striking. So for you, it would be between already. Off
it's like the
bat.
grappling.
Okay, so you like wrestling or jiu-jitsu for sure. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. That's the first thing. Okay. Then to your point about, you mentioned that like, oh, because I'm overweight.
Right.
That's an excuse.
Okay.
It is. Just get your ass in there.
Okay.
That's just the truth. Just go in there. Don't use any sort of excuse, whether it be I'm overweight. Oh, like my arm hurts.
But is it safe? Is what I'm saying.
See, all safe is like relative. What is safe to you? Because any contact sport. No, this is real. This is real. I'm glad you're bringing this up because if you're playing baseball, what are you at risk of? Baseball, just in baseball.
A
Getting hit by the ball.
ball going at like 90 miles per hour,
Yeah,
hitting me
correct.
in the face.
But how many people still play it though?
Hundreds, millions.
Exactly. My point is, you're going to get hurt,
Right.
and there will be injuries in every major sport.
Gotcha.
In every sport. Same thing with football, right? So it's the same thing with MMA. It's the same thing with jiu-jitsu too. You know, you're going to have your little injuries, sometimes to big injuries, but that's something that you accept. With a combat sport, is it going to hurt a lot more? Is the percentage a little higher? Yeah, it is. But if you end up like gravitating towards it, you actually love it, you have the passion for it, you're going to come back. You just are.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just go. I really implore you. I'll give you a private lesson if you want one of these days.
Okay. I'll
Just
take you up on the
try it.
offer.
Just try it. You may end up loving it. Not even liking it, loving it.
Loving it.
Like I said, there's
I get pretty
a lot of people that I
obsessive.
encounter that just,
Uh-huh.
they love it. That's it. They keep coming back. They keep coming back.
Okay. All right. I'll take you up on the offer.
I
I'm
am
still
here
thinking about it. I'm still overweight.
on the way to get some food.
Still overweight.
So
here.
you mentioned something earlier off air when we were kind of talking about mental health and the correlation between like jiu-jitsu, right?
That was between us.
Oh.
In private, not playing.
Oh, I was like, were we not supposed to say it? Hey, you didn't say it. I asked before, what can we not talk about?
We got the list.
Yeah.
It was a huge, long list, you guys.
But you want to kind of touch bases on that? Because I know like right? There's people that run and it's for mental health. There's people that,
Right.
you know, just need to be outside and it helps. But how does jiu-jitsu, like for you or for people that you've seen, kind of, how does it help?
I think combat sports in general is a good way to release a lot of demons. And I use that word intentionally when I say demons. You know, like I said, a lot of the major people that have remained in the space, we come from trauma, right? One way or another. And it's one of the best ways. Like I said, so when I go to regular gyms, it doesn't do the same to me. It doesn't have the same effect. But battling someone strategically, methodically, meticulously, like human chess, there's something that's in the genes or something like that, you know, that helps you just deal with issues. You can talk to my woman, like she'll know, like I'm a lot calmer. It just takes all that stress out, right? So like some people drink to de-stress, some people smoke weed to de-stress. I just fight. That's what I like doing, and I'm a lot calmer, a lot happier. And I know it sounds odd to say that, but it's the truth. Quick story too. I had a friend, actually a friend that I started out with. He was going through his own like demons, and he took his life on July 4th. And there's going to be a few people listening to this podcast. You guys know who I'm talking about. And since then, I have made more of an effort to like reach out to friends, because you realize that you are in a niche, like a niche society, niche group of people. You guys are very close to each other, but sometimes we're embarrassed of like reaching out, you know, or embarrassed of telling someone else like, hey, I'm going through this. You know what you can do though? Just reach out and say, hey, you want to hang out? You want to go for a hike? You want to go get some food? Just reach out. And sometimes I hope that makes a difference, right? But other than that, just getting onto the mat, just hitting each other in the face, or, you know, like sparring each other or rolling with each other. Rolling is in jiu-jitsu, or randori, they call it sometimes. That's all you need sometimes, a lot of the times, especially when you're feeling stressed out or you're going through something. I'm telling you, after that, you feel so much better. Like some sort of like burden, or at least a huge portion of that burden has been lifted off of your chest or your back. So I definitely implore people, if you guys are going through something, reach out to someone first and foremost, or join a combat gym of sorts. Make sure that's the right gym for you and they actually are supportive, and see if you can actually connect with people. So not just on the mats, not just in the gym, but see if you guys can actually hang out outside. Like I said, it's all about networking, and it's all about trying to help each other out and trying to, you know, support each other. And that's something that I have increased in my past year, especially since that incident. You know, just reaching out to people, trying to help them out. How can I help you? Because I know at the end of the day, we're all trying to help ourselves, just, you know, ourselves on oneself. But you also have to make a certain effort to help someone else out too, because you never know if they need that help, right?
Yeah. What have you learned from jiu-jitsu, and you learn that specific, I don't know, skill and used it in your personal life?
Discipline.
Discipline?
I will say discipline for my diet, not letting small issues, and I might still go through a few things, right? Quite a few things, but
We're
it doesn't-
human.
Yeah, exactly. We're human. Like, but it doesn't affect me like,
But it gets easier, right?
like for instance, road rage incidents, right? That's increasingly, it's like increasing. I don't know if you've noticed, like road rage incidents, or people that are on the verge of like getting out of their car and trying to fight. That's been happening more frequently now. I don't have that freaking urge, and I'm thankful for that. So discipline and just learning how to breathe, number one. And a lot of it comes down to mental first, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're just relaxing your mind first. You're just thinking about what is valuable to you. Why do you need to go take it to this level? You just start thinking about things, and you start reverse engineering the situation that you're in. Is it worth me getting angry over? No, most of the time it's not, right? A lot of the times when we have issues, we tend to overblow whatever the situation is, because nothing is ever that serious, right? I mean, there's always someone that has it worse. And then that person that thinks they have it worse, there's always something worse than that. So those are the type of things that just end up humbling you. So I always have like a good perspective on it's never that serious, right? Instead of just like getting into that mental rabbit hole of like, oh, you know, it's never going to get better. It always does. And it always starts from the mind. So mental fortitude, happiness is something that's paramount to me.
So it's not just physical. It's a lot of it is,
I would say
your
it's like
mental-
95%. is
95?
mental. A lot of it, especially like if you're going into competition. Like for instance, there's some students of mine, people I train with too. They'd ask me like, okay, so what do I do to prepare? And they're always talking about the physical. And I always tell them the same thing. Don't worry about the physical, because the physical does not mean anything if you don't have the mental. If you're already going into any sort of situation, whether it be competition or another situation in reality, right? If you're already going in with that mentality that I'm going to lose, most likely you're going to lose, right? You have to go confidently into any sort of battle, right? Whether it's physical or at a job or anything else, you have to
yeah, you have to
that,
build that mindset.
that mindset.
Yeah.
Mind Buzz podcast.
The Mindset Podcast today. No, I 100% agree with you, because it starts in your head. Whatever you do, like
Whatever you do,
going
this is
in,
true.
going into something like having. I used to say, like, years ago, I did this thing where I was reading a lot of like self-awareness books, getting my mindset right, all that good stuff. And one thing that I still, think about to this day is believing in what is it? It's living in advance. You're not faking it till you make it. You're living in advance with anything.
Break that down, because I love that. I love the way that sounds. Can you elaborate on that?
Living in advance is, okay, say you want to be whatever you want to pick. What do you want to be?
Gym owner soon.
Live and have your mindset like a gym owner. What does a gym owner do right in the morning? What do they have for lunch? What do they have for breakfast? What is that person always thinking about?
So you're always in the mindset of, I'm already there.
You're already there.
And you have to create those habits.
Yes.
I just wanted you to break it down. I already knew.
100%.
I tricked you. No, I love that. I really, truly do. I love that. That's the way you have to take life, honestly. Right. If you don't have any goals and ambitions, and you're going to suffer in life, and life is going to teach you the hard way, honestly. And I love that, because I was even going to ask you about this whole setup too. Like, how many people want to start something like this, like a podcast, where they're being exposed to millions of people, right? And what stops them a lot of the time, like, oh, but what are they going to say about me? The comments and all that stuff. There's always going to be people, right?
Yeah.
That are just unhappy with what you're doing, because you're doing something moving forward, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Almost every successful person says the same thing. I don't care. I know that I want to do this, and I'm going to go forward and do it. Right. And I think that's a mindset that most people should have, honestly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But they don't, because I think most are so focused on other people. They're not focused on what they want and what they're trying to do, what their goal is. The focus is not on the goal. The focus is on the reaction to other people.
And, excuse me, unfortunately, that plagues a lot of people. That I'm going to say that probably plagues, 90% of people, and I've seen, for instance, for me and my Instagram, I am not a social media type of person, right? I just never been that way. However, I train with people that are studs in Instagram, and they tell me the same thing. Just post. There's some people that I follow too, like Gary Vee. You guys know him.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. And he says the same thing, like, you guys are too effing worried about what other people think about you. And that's true.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it. So when you end up doing it, you get rid of a little more of that, like, oh, what if? No, just do it. Just move forward. Take action, right? So reading a bunch of books, right? You can read a ton of books. It don't mean anything if you don't take action, right?
Right.
So I know this setup that you guys have here, this is not easy, but you guys did it.
No.
You found a way to do it.
Right.
And I respect that. That to me is success. So whatever is successful, I'm going to gravitate towards.
Yeah, I also seen a meme like the other day or something like that, something on Instagram, where it said,
was it the big black dude again?
Yeah.
Looked like he stopped. Gil's like,
but covering that, there was a page, and he quoted that as long as you're moving forward, no matter how quick or no matter how fast or slow, you're still moving forward, right? There's movement,
micro improvements,
right?
So
I like
some
that.
people want to leap, like 2 steps or 1 whole step, and that's not the way progression works. It's usually like little baby steps. There's a reason why they use the word baby, because it's small little micro progressions and improvements, and then sometimes you get into a stride, then you get into another roadblock, but then you continue with those little baby steps, and that's what matters the most. Honestly, you're doing something every single day to improve your life, to improve your family's life, to improve your progression towards something, a goal, right?
So right now you are what color is your belt?
I want you to take a guess.
Is it a brown?
Yes. So,
Okay.
you know,
I knew that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to ask you.
I wanted him to say like, is it a red belt with like blue stripes?
Do they have red belts? No, they don't.
And kids?
Do they?
I'm not too keen. I'm not gonna even lie on this one. I'm not too keen on the kids. I've never like did a regiment for kids, but I know they have their own set of colors. I should.
Oh, okay.
But you know, for adults, it's gonna start from white, blue, and then purple, brown, and then black, and then the different degrees of black.
There they are. Oh, there's
Yeah.
different degrees?
Of black. Yeah,
Whoa.
and then you end up getting to like a coral belt, which is like I don't know,
Jesus.
more than like 30 years in the game.
Whoa.
But I mean, think about that. That's like someone's career.
So you're one
You know
belt
what I mean?
away from being a black belt.
Yes, and then it doesn't stop there.
There's more?
You know what I mean?
There's more after a black belt?
Yeah, but see, that's gonna be different degrees, right? And then you see like below. If
Which
you go,
one should I choose?
that one right there that you were on? Yeah, that one right there.
This
is
one right
good.
here, adult.
So the coral belt, that's I believe after about like 30 years or so. And I'm assuming at that point you're like around like, I don't know, 60 or something like that. And
Dang.
if you're still enjoying the game, you still have your faculties about you. I mean, that's quite an achievement, you know? This is why in gi specifically, they call these people the people that have black belts and above. They
What is
call them
that? Gi?
Professors.
In
Gi
gi.
is like, you've seen judo, right? You've seen judo competitions. They have like the jacket and the pants.
Yeah.
They're grabbing. That's what we call. That's the same thing. It's a kimono
Oh, okay.
with the actual belts. So and in MMA, we don't use gis or anything like that. But in gi, jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, they use kimonos. So that's when you'll see the actual belt. But in no gi, you're not going to see what belt they are unless they have like an actual like color-coded
Oh, okay.
like rash guard or something like that.
So break it down for me. I'm an idiot when it comes to sports. So
First of all, you're not an idiot.
when it comes to sports, I'm an idiot about 100 million different things. But there's some
No,
topics
you
to
just
where
don't
I'm not an
know.
idiot.
Yeah, no,
Right.
you just don't know.
Yeah, and I'm being a less of an idiot right now because I'm asking you to show me a couple of things. So if I were to ask you, like, break it down for me, break down jiu-jitsu, like the sport and its impact on MMA and what MMA is
I love
and
that question.
the difference between that. If you were to explain that to a 2-year-old.
Jiu-jitsu, the way I put it is, oh, man, that's a good question. I want to give you a unique answer, but I don't know how unique it's going to be. But jiu-jitsu is essentially the art of strangling the shit out of someone or breaking their limbs with ease as well. And the level that jiu-jitsu is at right now, and for all, you know, for those of you that do jiu-jitsu or MMA, you guys know what I'm talking about, the level. So for instance, a purple belt, which is like mid-level, right? So from white to black, it's like right in the middle. The purple belts of today compared to the purple belts of, let's just say, like 15 years ago, it's a completely different like level change. It's, these guys are on a different level of purple. So for me, like really striving to get to black, I have to make sure that my game is on point. So a purple belt of today, like our current time right now, 2023, would kick the shit out of a black belt 15 years ago, because the level has changed so much. Because one of the main reasons why is because that technique has been broken down so well by nerds or people that like study this like on a day in, day out. They read about like mechanics, they read about the physics of everything, you know. And imagine that's a kid learning all this stuff, right? And then when he actually gets on the mat, he understands the physics, the mechanics of your body. He's going to just dismantle you. There's a kid named, well, he's not a kid anymore, okay? He's an adult. His name is Mikey Musumeci. If you guys ever are interested, you guys are super into books, you guys are super like nerdy, and I don't mean nerdy in a bad way, honestly. I'm talking about like,
if you
super,
like reading and
if you're
books
studious, Mikey
writing.
Musumeci would be like your role model in jiu-jitsu. That guy is something else. The way he breaks down mechanics, the way he breaks down movement, he has it down to a science, and it's people like him that take jiu-jitsu to a different level. Now, jiu-jitsu in relation to MMA, remember how I was talking about UFC? The reason why jiu-jitsu nowadays is as big as it is because two main reasons. The Gracie family that brought it from Brazil, and by the way, the Gracies essentially got it from Japan. So the lineage is essentially Japan, Brazil, and then essentially America, right? But the reason why jiu-jitsu is so big now is because the Gracies brought it to America, and then they joined the UFC. Then from UFC, you have a small audience right there, right? So that's the first thing. They put it on the map as far as the American population and the knowledge goes. Then you have people like Joe Rogan. Obviously, you guys know who Joe Rogan is. So he also put
Never
it
heard
on
of
the map. He put it on the map, and it just blew up from there because he kept on promoting it. Because one of his closest friends is Eddie Bravo, who's the founder of the school that I'm from, which is 10th Planet.
Oh, okay.
So they're really close to each other, and it just blew up, and it's going to keep on blowing up because there's people that study this, just like there's people that study, baseball and football, and they know all the stats. But these guys in jiu-jitsu, not only do they study all the stats, they actually practice it, and they're superbly good at just jiu-jitsu. So you can only imagine like 10 years from now how good the purple belt then is going to be compared to 2023. I mean, really just think about this, because some kids are getting into this from, the age of 3. Just like some kids get into wrestling from the age of 3 and they go to the Olympics. You know what I mean? Eventually, I believe that jiu-jitsu is going to end up going into the Olympics too, and it's going to be an Olympic sport, just like wrestling.
So is there differences like in American jiu-jitsu? Like is there
That's a good question.
So is there like American jiu-jitsu, is there Japanese, Brazilian, like, right? Jiu-jitsu is like the motherland.
Like,
is there like different states?
The mothership, yeah.
Right.
That's a very good question, bro. So this is a hot topic, hot debate too, because some people would get upset if you called it American Jiu-Jitsu. Mm-hmm. I will be honest with you. And I never understood that. Number one, Jiu-Jitsu is Jiu-Jitsu, right? But however, there is an American style of Jiu-Jitsu, and I'll let you know the difference there, okay? Some people will differentiate that with leg locks. Leg locks, and for those of you who don't understand what that means, the traditional way of doing jiu-jitsu will always pertain to the upper half of your body. When it came to America, there's a few people here that specifically focused on not just the upper half, but also including the lower half. That means breaking your legs, breaking your ankles, breaking your feet. So that in itself created the evolution of jiu-jitsu, and that's what some people would refer to as American jiu-jitsu. But if you're talking to a few Brazilians, to them it's still just going to be jiu-jitsu, right? I mean they're technically right. It's still jiu-jitsu. It's just the evolution, just like any sport, right? But some people don't like the fact that you're calling it American jiu-jitsu because they want to call it Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But then the Brazilians got it from Japan, so it doesn't matter because it's still all jiu-jitsu. It just evolves.
So is it like a different style of
at the core
moves?
See, it's not different. At its core, it's still the same thing, right? You're still going to use the same principles to rupture someone's elbow and arm or dislocate someone's shoulder. It's the same thing. But like I said, going back to the Brazilian portion of, or the era of it, they only really focused on the upper half. They really ignored the legs. When it came to America, there was a group like Danaher Death Squad, if you guys know who I'm talking about. The ones that train know what I'm talking about. And even the 10th Planet system, we started focusing on legs. So not just the upper half. We just didn't like learn how to break your arm or dislocate your shoulder. We also started learning how to dislocate your hips, how to dislocate your knees, how to like break your ankles and all that stuff. So that's a different level now, okay? Someone like Mikey Musumeci started creating different entries to things that we have been doing on a regular basis. And it's out of the box thinking that keeps the sport moving forward and evolving. Because it only takes one person, right? Just like in basketball, you know, the Kobe's, the LeBrons, they're always doing something a little different, and that pushes a sport to a different level. Same thing with tennis, with like the Williams sisters, right? They changed essentially the game of how people play tennis. And now you have to catch up to them, and then the new generation catches up to them, and now they're going to exceed, right? And then now you have to catch up to the new generation, and so on and so forth. So it's all jiu-jitsu at the core, but there's different styles, and it moves forward in different parts of the world.
Nature versus nurture. So is a person born a good jiu-jitsu, or is it training?
I love this question.
Like say you've trained since you're 3 years old, you're 21 now, and can you be as good as somebody that has just trained for 5 years?
Do you want me to give you the honest,
Give me
raw
the
truth?
Sebastian honest answer to that.
The truth is,
Is this a hot topic? I don't mean to put you in any hot water or anything.
It is a hot topic because some people don't want to look. Reality is reality, right? Some people will definitely be more predisposed to just doing better at certain sports or better at specific sports like jiu-jitsu. Sometimes you just have the genetics for it. Sometimes you have the long arms. Sometimes you are born with the genetics of strength. Doesn't matter where you're from, right? Sometimes you just get that genetic lottery, and that's going to lend itself to you being successful in anything that you do, in any sport that you do, because you just have some sort of athletic prowess, you know? To answer your question, great genetics mixed with hard work, it's a sure thing you're going to be a champion in whatever thing you do, especially in jiu-jitsu or MMA. Like someone like, I'm going to bring up John Jones. He's also like a hot topic here.
Can you pull up a picture of John Jones, please?
John Jones is, he's a freak of nature. No H on that one.
No H.
No H. Yeah, so it's just Jon. Yeah, and then Jones. Yeah, second right there. That guy, just genetics to the max. And he's been popped for steroids before, but even without steroids, he would still be one of the best fighters on the planet. He just recently moved to heavyweight after being
he looks
champion at 205 for the UFC. He moved up, right?
He looks bulkier in some early, heavier pictures. Okay.
And this guy has brothers in the NFL, so you can only imagine the genetic makeup that he comes from. Right. So he destroyed everyone he has gone against. Everyone. Look at the way he just ragdolls people. Okay, well, once again, these are fighters that have been fighting for years. And that's just something that you really can't you just can't train for. Unless like he doesn't want to do it anymore, then you have a chance of beating him. But he's so competitive that it's going to be hard for him to lose anything. You know, he's just built from that cloth of I'm going to win everything I want to win. But he's genetically gifted.
Okay.
Plus hard work too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the reason why is because I wanted to bring parallels between learning guitar or learning or painting as opposed to somebody in art school for X amount of years versus somebody just picking up a paintbrush and being the next Picasso.
Listen, there's other factors too, right? As long as you have the baseline of hard work, meaning you're actually putting time and effort into whatever craft you want, you're going to be successful in your own right. You cannot deny that, right? You would agree, almost everybody would agree the same thing. But there are other factors that we cannot control, like genetics when it comes to like combat physical sports. They're going to lend itself. And let's go even deeper into that. If you're an artist and you're like some sort of avant-garde artist and I don't know, maybe some people might consider you like autistic, you have some sort of mental advantage because you just extremely focus on your task, and then that's what helps you create. There's different things that we can't help.
Yeah. But especially training is one thing, right? Having the mindset of a competitor.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
You can teach that.
we have a lot of people that come up on here and they're like musicians and they're like, oh, anybody can play as good as the. And honestly, to me, I don't. And again, it's maybe I'm gonna piss some people off, but I don't think that everyone is good at everything, and that's okay.
No, that's okay though. Exactly. That is okay. You have to find something that you're good at, and here's the thing though, you have to put effort into trying to find something that you gel with, that you actually enjoy doing. Just put your time into it, put that effort, dedicate
Shop
that
around,
time.
right?
Shop around. But dedicate that time to it first so that you can actually say, yeah, I don't like
Oh,
this.
okay. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Try it out for like a bit of time.
Yeah, it
It'll
was
be
like
good.
me the last time we were talking that I told you guys, or I had told our guests, I've gone through the drums, I've gone through clarinet, I've gone through piano, and then I realized, all right, I'm not good at music and I don't like it.
Turn that music off.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy that you're bringing that up because for people that don't know too, I play drums. They have seen me play drums. Wait, let me ask you something. What do you think of my drumming?
I like it.
Okay,
It's cool. I like your style.
thank you very much. All right, I've tried other instruments. I don't like them, and I've given them
what?
time. I've tried
What have you tried?
guitar, keyboard, bass, but something brings me back to drumming, to
Have you-
percussion, and I love it. So I'm going to stick to it, and
Uh-huh.
it's obviously shown that, I'm successful with it.
Have you tried a woodwind or a brass?
Yes, in middle
Instrument?
school.
In
And
middle
it's the Same thing. There's something about drumming.
Yeah.
And maybe it goes back to it being primal to me somehow because I'm beating things up. Right? Like, I mean, really think about that.
But
I'm
it's
like
true,
hitting
yeah.
something hard. I'm using the double pedal and everything. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm drawn to, and that's what makes me happy, and that's what I'm going to stick to.
Right.
I think that's so cool. Honestly, like it's always been my like something that's always gone in through my head because I'm thinking about it right now. When like if I were to see you down the street, like I'm not gonna say, oh, this guy, but if I see you down the street, I just think like, oh, he's a normal person, like But given the circumstance, like you said earlier, it's like you can freaking like take someone down, and it's crazy that we're walking amongst people that we don't even know can like
Yeah.
dismantle us or I don't know, I think it's cool. It's like almost like a superhero,
superpower.
right? That they don't know that they're the superhero until it's like needed or something like that. Like that's kind of cool.
It's interesting that you're bringing that up because the truth of the matter is too is we are somewhat like not superheroes, but your human version of superheroes. You don't understand how freakishly strong we are. Okay. And funny stories too. It's funny that I was just talking about this earlier on today because I had a private earlier on. And we were talking amongst the people that were there. You'll have big, yoked or buff dudes come into the gym and they expect to mop the floor with everyone there. And a lot of the times, they're the ones who end up being used as a mop. And I'm talking about big dudes, right? Big dudes. And guess what? A lot of them, like 90% of them, don't even come back because you're hurting their ego. They're so used to being in control of someone that's smaller or someone that looks like, scrawny or something like that. But these guys, I'm telling you, we are freakishly strong. And like I said, we are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. But we all have a switch. You cross that line, it's going to be hard for us to like really just slow down or calm down.
Has that happened to you before?
When I was younger, yes, it happened a lot.
Yeah.
It happened to me recently, but
But as your training evolved, like have
yes,
you come
talks.
into a situation like that?
situation like what exactly?
Somebody, shoving you or
trying to start?
trying to trying to
what's
be
crazy?
aggressive with you. You have to show them something.
I don't know if it's my face. You can zoom in. Anyways, right here. I don't really have issues with people. I don't know if because I smile or when I look serious, I look serious.
Mhm.
Meaning that I'm communicating to you, you don't want to try me because I'm not going to back down, right? But I don't really encounter issues like that. I have encountered, there was a situation that could have escalated, but luckily it didn't. And I'm thankful for that, that it didn't escalate. But yeah, somebody would have ended up being hurt.
Yeah.
To say the least. But yeah, we're freakishly strong. And you will never, yeah, it's true what you're saying, Amber. You never know.
Yeah.
And this is why I tell people to don't train because you're trying to beat someone up. Train because you want to be more confident in your abilities to defend yourself and also to protect your family.
All I want to do is German suplex somebody. That's all I want to do in life. Is just learn how to German suplex somebody. And that's it. I'll be fine.
Hey, when are you going to come down, man? You're all the way over here in Chino, but I want to know when you're actually going to come by.
Let's look up the
gym.
one right here.
That's what I want to know.
Look it up. Let's see. I want to hear
No, but
his
he
honest
wants you to
opinion.
train with him.
Yeah, I want you to come down. Are you ever down in LA?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time?
But we can be.
We can be.
If you're ever in LA, like I said, the next time you're in LA, just come by.
Amber, so it's either am I going to comedy college or jujitsu? I have to choose one.
I'm gonna take
Okay.
jujitsu.
I have to choose one thing.
I need you to
tell
carry
me a
me,
joke.
protect me.
Stand up doesn't work that way.
What are
buddy.
you gonna do? Someone's in a bar and you're gonna be like, wait, let me tell you a joke, dude. Don't
Hold
hit me in the
on.
face.
You know what? I was going to punch you in the face, but you made me laugh. So not anymore. We're cool now.
Everybody loves comedians.
No, it's true.
They do.
I do. I have a few comedians. We train with a lot of comedians,
Yeah.
stand-up comics. And it goes back to what I said. They all have trauma, right?
Yeah.
This is why they do stand-up
I got
comedy.
lots of that.
You see what I'm saying? So I think you would actually enjoy it, man. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. The ones that stay long in the game, we all have trauma. I'm telling you.
You'll teach me how to German suplex?
Yeah, I'll teach you how to guillotine someone to break their arm.
So
Jeez.
most of your style, like your specific style,
My style, okay?
your style, is it striking? Is it submissions? Like, what is it?
I am very good at jiu-jitsu. I do MMA as well. I'm very good at MMA.
So what's the difference? I don't.
So
did you
MMA
tell me that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that back up. So MMA in itself encompasses all of those disciplines together, primarily
MMA.
wrestling. Yeah,
Okay.
Mixed martial arts is MMA, not UFC, people. Please don't say that. I do UFC. That's one of my favorites. So MMA, mixed martial arts, that encompasses everything from wrestling to striking. And when I say striking, I'm talking about Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, and jiu-jitsu. All three of those is what it encompasses. And then jiu-jitsu itself is just the art of essentially grappling with submissions. And then you have wrestling. Wrestling is probably the strongest base that you can have to start off with. It's like if you're like a 3-year-old or you have a kid that's around 3, the first thing you want to put them into, and in my opinion, is going to be wrestling. Because wrestling, do you have wrestling? Did you grow up around here?
No, not in Chino, but I grew up in Whittier.
And Whittier, did you guys have wrestling in high school?
We had a wrestling team.
Hey,
Yeah.
Have you ever been to any of those like actual classes?
No.
But you knew at least wrestlers.
Yeah.
Okay. How crazy were they mentally as far as just like every day was a grind, even more than like, it's probably like the toughest sport in high school, even over like football.
Really?
Yes, I'm telling you, it is a grind to do wrestling. So imagine what that does to your mental fortitude. And you take that over to punching, you take that over into MMA. Look, the top fighters right now, I would have to say all have some sort of base of wrestling. Because wrestling teaches you to circumvent any sort of roadblock, circumvent any sort of like blockages, and always end up on top. Meaning you're raining down punches or you're just in an advantageous position.
Right.
Does that make sense? So wrestling is probably the best. I would not recommend starting off with jiu-jitsu if you are, if your kid is around 3 or something like that, because then they're going to get used to just flowing, right? And you don't necessarily want to learn how to flow when you're that age. You want to know how to go from a disadvantageous position and make it into an advantageous position, being on top. And then from there, you can kind of just start flowing with submissions, because you already have the safety of being on top and surfing. I call it surfing on top, meaning if the person on the bottom is bucking or trying to punch on top, you're actually pretty relaxed because you're at an advantageous position for an arm bar or just to rain down punches.
So what's your style? You're more a striker? All of them?
I'm telling you.
You're everything?
Good. Yes. But I love jiu-jitsu. If there was one that I could just pick, it would just be jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I love it. And I mean, I love it.
One more question, and we'll close it out because Amber's giving me this signal.
The red light?
Yeah, the red light. Yeah. She's giving you the light. What's your thoughts on like the WWE?
Hey, you know what? I will say that these questions have been legit. I love these questions. Honestly, they're thought-provoking. I'm serious. This is gonna upset a few people, but it's not a real sport, man. I don't. It's entertaining. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I told
That's
you,
it.
foam doors.
It's entertainment. It's on.
It's entertaining. Yeah, that's it.
It's
That's it.
changed, right?
But I mean, it does have to take some kind of physical, right, like activity for them to kind of do some of the stunts that they do and things like that.
You know what they are more of? If anything, they're more of daredevils, right? So they put themselves in situations where they're okay breaking their necks.
Yeah.
But is there any like strategy behind it? Not really. Like I said, this is going to upset people, but there really isn't. You're just more prone to not caring about whether you break your arm. I care.
Right.
Me personally, as an athlete, I care about breaking my arm. So I'm going to do everything in my power.
Yeah, because their opponent
stop.
is not trying to break your arm. Everything's planned. Everything there's
And there's a lot of
blueprint.
freak accidents that if you know what I'm talking about,
Right.
you know, even when you try to plan things, but you're more of a daredevil at that point.
Right.
You know,
You're a stuntman.
You're more not adverse to risk, but you're the opposite. You're more prone to risk, and I'm not like that. I want to avoid getting my arm broken, and their strategy behind avoiding that and then turning it around to create some sort of offense so that once again you're in an advantageous position, you know. But sorry to shatter your heart. Está llorando over here with one tear.
Damn. That's sweat. That's not a tear. Sebastian, thanks for coming out and doing the podcast.
Thank you
man.
very much for having me, man. Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Love
it,
it.
dude. So go ahead and tell us where we can find you and what you got coming up.
You guys just please follow me on Instagram, Savage Stone Jiu-Jitsu. If you guys are looking for private lessons or even a gym, please ask me. Look, if you go through my Instagram, we have PSF out in Hawthorne. We have 10th Planet West LA in Beverly Hills. And we also have Legacy West Adams, which is on Adams Boulevard in Crenshaw. I'm here to help you guys find the right gym or the right person. It doesn't have to necessarily be with me. I just want to help you guys out. Okay, reach out, and then also on TikTok and YouTube too. Just follow, support.
Cool. All the links to Sebastian's stuff will be down in the show notes and the show description on YouTube, Spotify, and all the good ones.
I love it, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
again,
dude.
This is fun.
Yeah, this was awesome. I'll take you up on that offer, bro.
Just come
German
to LA.
suplex.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't know why. I just picture that German Shepherd.
I think
Just
that's-
barking
I
for
think
its
that
life.
Can you look up a German suplex? That's when you hook somebody right and flip them over.
We
Can
just
you
call
look
that,
it up?
We just call that the suplex. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a different one, right? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just call that a suplex.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I just said how to suplex. You see?
Oh, and it's a back roll.
No, it's just showing you the prerequisites for you to do that, because it's not easy. You think it's no, there's like hips under the individual. You gotta like make sure you actually throw them over your shoulder and you don't end up on your neck. So all those little exercises, those little drills help you avoid injury, essentially. You see how like
Okay.
it's always rolling over his shoulder?
Oh, cool.
Same situation.
I'm just gonna do that for like 5 hours.
Yeah, do it. You'll probably do it then. You'll probably end up doing it.
All right. So all this is in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles County. Yeah.
Cool, dude. Yeah.
Cool sauce.
If you guys are interested, go down to the link in the show description. Check them out. Add them on all the stuff. See ya.
The Mind Buzz.
That was awesome. Seriously, man.
Thanks for listening to the Mind Buzz podcast. Subscribe to the Mind Buzz YouTube channel and watch full podcast episodes. Keep up with the hosts, guests, and upcoming events by following the Mind Buzz on Instagram at the Mind Buzz. See you on the next one.